Getting the E3D Volcano to fit your Ender 7 requires a slight modification, and that comes in the form of filing off some material on the collar of the hot end. It doesn't take much since the hot end is made of aluminum, and any metal file with just a few passes will take off about 1 millimeter of material, and that should be enough to get the screws to clear the collar. If this modification isn't performed and the screws are installed, you can see how they begin to flare out because there's not enough clearance around the collar. With the screws on that angle, obviously they won't properly align with the threaded standoffs in the Ender 7 carriage. Now obviously I've already modified this particular hot end, but what I did to start was mark a straight line through the top of the hot end with a black Sharpie. This is going to help us align our file when we go to file off that little bit of material on the collar, and so you'll be filing perpendicular to the line that you just drew. Repeat the process on the other side using the line that you drew as a guide. When you're finished, both sides should be parallel to one another. Just keep in mind here that you're doing this by hand and extreme precision is not needed. You'll file off about 1 millimeter of material on either side, and that's just enough to get the screws to pass through. Now when you put the front clamp piece back on and you align your marks with the split in the clamp, those screws should no longer be flared out because now they have clearance to the collar. The markings made on the top of the hot end will also help with the final assembly when you eventually get to that. With the mount and the front clamp piece in place, you won't be able to see the area where you filed on the hot end, and so you can use these marks as a guide. The markings should just simply line up with the split in the clamp. And that's it. The whole process should take no longer than a minute or so, and in the event that you ever want to reuse this hot end on another machine, this modification will have no bearing on using other mounts because the amount of material removed was so minimal.